Hey everybody, welcome to Field of Dreams on NCBN TT. I'm Steve David and I'm your host. Today I talked to our new National Under-20 coach. And Trinidad, I'm going to introduce you guys to him, and then we would have better knowledge of who Brian Haynes is. Welcome to the set, Brian.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Good to see you, bud.
Hey, good to see you as well.
It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time, yes.
Yeah, we're back, and like a lot of people don't know how. I mean, you moved to the U.S., you migrated after a good, what I would say, a good, not season, but seasons and football in Trinidad and Tobago and currently. Bridget Castle, with the family. Your family has been, oh Lord, they serve the country all up and down and sideways. And now you are a national under-20 coach. How you feel about that?
It's a labor of love because it's something I always wanted to do. Everything I learned about the game I learned here, and I got to help take my career a little bit further, going to the United States, but everything was learned here. So
let the Trinidad and Tobago know who Brian is. So I want to touch a lot about your upbringing in Bridget Castle and everything else, and so a lot of times when people don't know somebody, they're more critical, and they want you to do magic. But let them know about your whole upbringing and where you represented and all that good stuff.
Came from a huge family. 7 brothers, 2 sisters. And my dad, including all my brothers, played football. And both my sisters were married to professional, big-time footballers. Anston Adams and Leroy Span are my 2 brother-in-laws. So they all played. Anston played for Carney, Leroy played for Carney. And then I got really, I have to say I was really blessed to have my brother Vernon. He went to St. Benedict's and played there. My brother Barry was the one who taught me how to kick the ball with the outside of my foot, because he's bow-legged as ever, but the one thing he could do is hit the ball with the outside of his foot. So I learned that from him. And then all my other brothers, Reynolds was the strongest kicker in the family. Then Michael was the shortest one, but the most rugged and intense ones. And then there was Frank, who was my example because he was the one born before me. And then there was Steve, who was, I think, the best technically gifted Haynes in the family, but didn't care too much about football. But he was very good. And like I said, I was very lucky to have those kinds of people around me. And I will mention the name because of a brother that he was to the family, Lawrence Rondon, who lived at our house at times. Keith Reno, who lived at our house. Steve David, who was also moved in. Ken Morin, all these people that came through Brechin Castle. Leon Carper just went through my mind. But all these people that was around me, I was so blessed, and I was so lucky to not just see them play, but to learn the kind of people they were. And I don't remember any of those guys or any of you guys being guys who were not humble. I don't remember you guys being like, I ain't got time for anybody. No, it was they always had time for me, and I wanted to learn. And it was nice to see my brother-in-law Leroy Span was the one who I kind of emulated, because he's left-footed and I'm left-footed. And I realized when he was around me how much he told me I need to work hard and train. And Earl Carter would come all the way from Arima with his car to come down to BC, and we would go under the fence in Gilbert Park to get on the field to train and get better. Leroy would wake me up at 5 in the morning. We'd go there and we would train, and then later being 8 o'clock in the morning, Earl Carter would show up and we would play 3v1. Leroy, Chris Pugh, and I with Earl Carter, but it was all about getting my touch. And Leroy would say to me, Brian, the touch has to be better than anything else. Nobody can get the ball from you when you have it. I'm like, okay. So I worked on it, and I was fortunate from the time I became 15 to kind of have in my mind what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the national team, the under 18s. I did that. And when I did, I went to John Donaldson Technical Institute.
Right.
And I was fortunate again to be there with really good players, Clayton Morris, Curtis Riley, John Castellano, Errol Lovell, all these guys, Garfield De Silva, Chris Pugh, Alan Anderson, I mean, a lot of guys, Wendell Ferguson, Lester Parrish. I still remember him and I remember it like yesterday. Brigham Gonzalez was our coach. Nat Simpson was the assistant, and I'm still in touch with him. And but the thing about it is, and what these guys taught me was, everything had to be family. One for all for one. You know, it's all about family, and all these things and the times that I spent in Trinidad, it teach me what it means to become a football player. You have to be the one that is a part of the group.
Right.
You can't be an individual. And so when I went to the U.S., I went there in '85. I went straight to college in South Carolina. And after 4 years of college, I remember saying to Baron Skinner was there, the first year I was there, I said to him, look, man, I just want to graduate out of this place and go do what I have to do.
Right.
And he went straight to indoor to play with the Baltimore Blast. And I followed in his footsteps from the standpoint, I went straight to professional, but I went to outdoor first in Orlando, and then I went to indoor in Atlanta. And I played indoor soccer for 6 years, from 1990 till 1996.
Right.
And there wasn't Major League Soccer until '96. And I was thankful and honored to be one of the first Trinidadians to make it in the MLS. And all I wanted to do in the MLS is to prove a point to myself, to my family, and to my nation that we can play in the U.S. and be successful.
Right.
And I kept my feet on the ground. I tried to be as humble as possible and kept doing what I was doing, but I didn't, point fingers at look what I'm doing. That wasn't me. I just wanted to do what I had to do and, like I said, make myself and my family proud and Trinidad proud. And after I was done playing, I remember the last year I played, I was given the Humanitarian of the Year award by the MLS, which meant more to me than any MVP award, because I know by being the kind of person that I was, good things are going to come. And so when I was, I think in my last year of playing, I got my B license. And when I was done playing, I went and got my A. And after that, I started looking for jobs. And I was fortunate because I played in Dallas, that they brought me on to be an assistant. So I played for 5. I coached there for 5. And in 2006, when we made the World Cup, it just so happened from 2002, around that time, a player from the U.S., Eddie Johnson's his name, he was just a young man and he couldn't live on his own. And the head coach at the time, Mike Jeffries, says, this guy's got to live with someone. And my family said, yeah, we'll take him in.
Right.
And so he came and lived with me, and he lived with me for 5 years. And the kid went from being just a young player to a very good player. And he made the national team. And he made a promise when he was there. He said, Brian, if I ever made the national team and we go to the World Cup, I'm taking you to the World Cup. And I go, yeah, this is a young man talking, whatever. And in 2006, the U.S. made the World Cup. Just happened to be the year that Trinidad made the World Cup.
Right.
And he said, I got your ticket. I got you tickets to all the games. Your flight's taken care of. Your hotel's taken care of. And he kept his word.
Right.
And so I went to the World Cup, but I was there as a guest of the U.S., but all I cared about was what's happening with Trinidad, what's happening with Trinidad. And I stayed in touch with Lincoln Phillips. Oh, let me say the Hall of Famer, Lincoln Phillips.
Yeah.
And he called me while I was in Frankfurt, and he said, come down to this is where the camp is, this and that, you're going to come see me. So I went down there, and I went to see him, and we talked about me working in Trinidad. And I said, Lincoln, that would make me the happiest man ever. And he was trying his best to try and get things worked out. And it didn't happen, but I said to him, I go, listen, I'm thankful that you even thought about me, but I'll keep working in the U.S. When something comes available, let me know. And, he's at Howard and all that stuff, and I stayed in touch with him. And then fast forward to basically now, I had a conversation while I was in the U.S. with Anton Cornel, who I played with, who I went to the same university as Erskine College. And of course, his dad, Alvin, was a big influence in my life because I went to Alvin Coney Coaching School and met a lot of friends there who became great soccer players. And once I spoke to him, he said, Brian, if anything becomes available, I'll let you know. I'm like, okay, no problem. And he said, so what have you been doing? I said, I've been putting my resume on every job became available in Trinidad. He goes, what? I go, yeah. If I want to work here, I'm not going to just expect people to just give me a job.
Right.
I'm going to apply just like anybody else. And if they say yes, great. If not, I understand.
Right.
You know, so he's like, I really respect that. And so when this became available where he needed someone to fill this role, he said, what do you think about it? I said, yeah, I'll do it. He goes, yeah, you didn't have to think about it. I go, no, this is something I always wanted to do.
Exactly.
You know, so my wife and I, she said, okay, that means we're going to have to leave Colorado because it's too far to get to Trinidad. It takes about 10 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nightmare. So I'm like, you know what, if we move to somewhere closer, so we moved to the south. It just so happens it's South Carolina, where I went to school. It's an hour from where I used to go to school. And she's like, good, we're here, let's get this done. And so when I came here, all I wanted to know is, what's the landscape look like? What's the players look like? And when do I start?
Right.
And it was November 1st when I got here. And when I got here, all I was doing, I was antsy. I just wanted to coach. And so I would ask the GS, the General Secretary, hey, listen, can I go watch the first team train? Can I go do this? Can I do that? Because I just wanted to get on the ground and start working. And I had to wait because they had I say college, but it's high school football here going on. And I said, okay, just let me know when I can start get to know the players and everything. And so I started going to watch the games. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, I don't know, is this the players? These are the players? Is this what's going on? And they're like, yeah, these are the players. I'm like, okay, so do we have a list? Do we have people? And so I started to identify in my own mind the players. And then Anton said to me, don't worry, the guy who was the coach before is going to help you, Sean Cooper, was going to let you know who I'm like, okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that Sean Cooper is a good friend of my niece's husband, Kurtman Beard.
Right.
Just the whole...
Everything fall in place.
Right? Yeah. And so I'm like, awesome, this is good, we're going to get... And so once I got to see the numbers, the numbers of the players, it was huge. And all I said, well, look, this is what I'm looking for. I have my own idea of the profile of the player that I'm looking for. To be a national team player, these are the things that needs to happen. Technically, tactically, physically, psychosocially, this is what I'm looking for. And once we find those things, and you can identify those things in those players, I can work with them. And so we started the quote-unquote screening process, and we came to a place where we were happy with the numbers we had. And once that happened, then I tell people, it's my crazy football brain is, I have to do all the phases of the game to see who can do what. I'm not dealing with the goalkeepers, I have a goalkeeper coach for that. But the defensive phase, the midfield phase, and the attacking phase, I need to know what these players can do. I'm not starting from the front, I'm going from the back and go forward. Once we develop these things, we can put them in place, and then we can go forward. And I was glad that we had a couple of games to kind of see where they are. Mm-hmm. Happy? Not even close. But happy to see that they're progressing, yeah. And that's where we are now.
Well, I'm glad you explained it well. You know, the first thing you do and the first thing a coach should do is really pick the players who have the mindset that he wants and to work hard and to adapt to his styling and all the different things that, that we need to do here first before we put it on the field.
Yes.
Now, let me go back because you did give us a lot about your life there in a short time. People will remember you as kind of Span brother because you were exactly like Span in the film. And everybody say, you sure? No, that's Span brother. And you guys play the same way.
Yeah.
And so now I understand why you were so much like Span. Because you guys spend a lot of time working off the field.
Yeah. He would make me do things over and over until it's done. Where he said to me, "It's like walking, Brian.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, you just do it." He said, "Every time you use your left foot, everything you do, it should come like second nature to you." And so I remember him. We would do the lofted drive, and he would do 20 of them. And he goes, "Nah, put it right here," and he would hit it right there to me, and I'd do it. And when I hit it, he goes, "Yes, now inside the foot, bend it, but it can't be over my head, it can't be low," and so I had to do it, and it had to be on purpose.
Yeah.
And once that would happen, he go, "Okay, now we go the other way. Now we go shoeless," but he would work, and Leroy is a perfectionist.
Yeah, he is.
And I understood why he was.
I think for once, we made a good selection in coaching, because I feel you can pack a lot of your experiences and skill, because you're still, in shape to actually show what you want, and that's good for our under 20. So I know you're looking forward to it, and I know it's going to happen. It's going to do well. So and you can always bring Leroy. Leroy still plays.
The thing about Leroy is he still plays, and I love the guy. Yeah. Why wouldn't he become a coach? Why wouldn't he be a part of this setup? Because he's just not into it. He would coach, but he wouldn't. I don't know why he wouldn't get into the national setup, but that's on him.
Yeah.
And if that's something he wants to do, I would love. I like to introduce to the players, like whenever a national team player walks by, I go, "Do you know who that is? Do you know what he did for the country? Do you And so, because I think sometimes young Trinidadian players, they don't know our history.
Don't know the history, right?
And sometimes, and I'm a believer, and I don't believe you should remove the ancient landmarks. They're the things that help you to realize, oh, this is where I came from. Yeah. This is what we did.
Right.
And I remember when we played against Haiti and what happened, and I remembered what happened when we played all these games that we came close and we were cheated, or we lost by a goal, whatever it was. I remember them, and I keep them in my mind, because where we train right now, as a matter of fact, we train at Arthur Bolden sometimes. And I go, "Do you guys know what happened in that field in there? Do you know what happened?
Right.
Do you know that we beat the U.S. in that field right there?"
Right.
And so I kind of go back and show them, this is what we did. This is how we got to the World Cup. This is when we scored in Bahrain. This is what happened. Because these things are important to our history. And then I remind them the size of our country. So
compare, right?
To understand, look, you have no idea what this really means, And then all I'm putting in their heads right now is, let me ask you this: in 2026 is a World Cup. You're on the U20 team. Are you looking at the games with the first team, or are you looking at the games on the first team saying, "I'm going to be on that team in 2026"? Right. I said, because if you're not looking there, you're just looking too low.
Let's take a break, Brian.
All right.
And when we get back, we will get into some more of the details.
No problem.
For this. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
Trinbago Heritage, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on NCBN TT Television Network.
The Santa Rosa First Peoples Community, in collaboration with the Center for Orientation and Integral Research, COIN, and the Caribbean United Against GBV, presents a 12-part series on gender-based violence intervention and prevention measures, under the theme, Unmasking Myths, Promoting Peace. Tune in to NCBN TT Television on Wednesday evenings at 7:50 p.m. You don't want to miss this.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. For the ones now tuning in, you're looking at NCBN TT. This is Field of Dreams. I'm the host, Steve David, and with me is Brian Haynes, who is well-known household name, played for every national team we had, played professional football, and was just explaining all that, and now he's our under-20 national coach. So, Brian, your team, you're with the team now, and tell us a little bit about what your schedule look like.
Well, last Thursday we played our first friendly international against Jamaica. We won 3-2, and it was a good outing for the boys. But at the same time, coaches, we never satisfied. I thought the guys did well, but there are things we still need to work on. So, with that in mind, we trained. After we played on Thursday, we trained on Saturday morning at Manny Ramjohn. And then we scheduled to play against Defense Force, but we told them we wanted to play 3 45-minute games. And because of the size of the group and there's players that we're looking at, I said, okay, great. Let's also bring, this is what the technical director decided, to bring the U17s as well. So as a head coach of the U20s, it was nice for me to shake hands with every player on the U17 so that they can see where they're going to. And I like it because the fact that if when I was training with the U18s, I met the first team coach, I know how excited I was. And so the 17s, it was great for me to talk to young players. I believe one of them is, I won't forget him too, Coach Phillips. Marvin, the kid's name was Phillips. And I said, what position do you play? And he said, a goalkeeper. I said, how many goalkeepers do we have? And he said, 3. I'm like, why? He goes, well, because. I go, no, aren't you the best? And so he was all embarrassed and shy, but it was good to get to know these guys. But so what we did after our session on Saturday, we decided we were going to have that session with Defense Force. So we played 3 games, 45-minute games. And then the second group of players that I have, second being the players from the U.S., players we haven't seen enough of, we played them against the U17s. And the U17s, you know what kind of game it would be when the younger team's playing against the older team. I sat on the side of the field and I looked at the technical director, Anton Coley, I go, not coaching this game. He goes, what? I go, I can't. This is enough. If these young players don't realize that this is huge for them to beat a U20 team, then they don't have any motivation to play this game.
Right.
I said, they better be motivated to play. And so it was good, but they lost 1-0.
Right.
But the thing about it is that one of our players had a hamstring injury. And I said, no, don't replace him. We're going to play with 10. And when we went down to 10, we scored. But the thing about it is it kept the young 17s in the game.
Right.
And I think that's good for the game because we're doing these things not to embarrass or not to prove a point, but we're doing these things to get better. And for the guys to play against Defense Force, older players, that we lost 2-0 the first game, we lost 1-0 the second game, and then when the quote-unquote, the group that's kind of at the highest level in the group, the guys don't understand my philosophy better. Those guys tied 0-0. But the thing about it, in the end, I was thankful to Defense Force for doing it because, look, they don't have to, but they did that for us, and that means that we're in one in the game. And so that's our preparation. But today we normally train at Atto Bolden, but because of all the games that we played yesterday and being in the sun for that long, I said, okay, we'll be off today. And it just so happened to the day that I'm coming to see you. So that worked out perfect. And then tomorrow we get back going in Tuesday. So I talk about the phases of play and there's things that we're still working on. So that's what we'll use tomorrow for. The next day we're going to use it as a game day -1 where we're getting ready to play against Jamaica again, where I get to see the players who are starting and the players who are not, to get ready for the game on Thursday so that when Thursday comes, everybody knows what they're doing, what they're supposed to do, and how they're supposed to get it done. The result is secondary. The primary thing for me is the players doing what's expected of them, and it's not like I'm a hard taskmaster, but at the same time, I want to see, I pick the players who understand what I want them to do more.
Right.
And once they understand it, it's like a school teacher, I want them to give it back to me. And I'm the kind of coach who would like to have creative play, I watched good football when I was growing up in Trinidad.
Right.
I watched creative players, and I know the freedoms that they had. But I also know that I seen coaches in Trinidad who demanded of players that they do it with the ball and without. And so I'm the same way, and I don't expect my forwards to be in the back, trying to clean balls up. But I expect them to start the press. I expect them to try and help the midfield know where the ball's going, so we can win it back. And I always like the fact that in my mind, I think possession-oriented soccer is the best because you have the ball, you have more fun. And so that's what my philosophy of the game is. Let's get the ball, let's move it. If it's on to play, play. If it's on to go, go. But once my forwards, my midfielders get the ball in places where they can go forward, they have the freedom. Right. They've worked hard to get the ball back. Now you get to go enjoy it. So it's been like I said, labor of love because the guys are now starting to understand the kind of person I am. Not a pushover, but at the same time, I talk to them. I don't scream at them. I talk to them, and I enjoy it. And I try to every time I leave the practice field, I like to have a smile on my face because I've done the thing that I love, and I'm doing it with kids that love the game too. So
right, and I think that comes out in your personality because you lived abroad a long time, and Americans kind of don't talk down; they talk.
Yeah, I talk too. Yeah,
and that comes out in your not your preparation, but the delivery. Okay, let my viewers know what we're preparing for, because right now the public knows we're training and there's something coming up, but they really don't know. So get them on the bandwagon now to give you the support.
Okay, we're preparing to get to U20's World Cup.
U20 World Cup.
That's what we're preparing for.
Right.
2025.
Right.
World Cup. And we're in a group where we have to win. I'm not going to say 2 games or 1 game. We got to win 3 games to get to. We win 3 games, we will go to the World Cup.
Right.
The group that we're in, the teams that we're playing against, the first team we play against is St. Vincent.
Right.
And people, we should win that game. I don't care.
11-11.
It's a game. Right now it's 0-0. We're playing to win a game. St. Vincent. Next team, Dominica. After that, Canada. So everybody's saying, that's the game to win. What if St. Vincent beats Canada and they tie, Dominica and we don't beat St. Vincent? They go through and we don't know. Right. And so with me, I have 3 games to win to get to the World Cup. For me, I would be ecstatic for the guys to do it. There's a good part. The good part is the games are in Trinidad. All 3 games.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It starts on the 23rd of February, ends on the 3rd of March. The bad part is the games are in Trinidad. Why? Because we have that silly thing called Carnival right before it.
Yeah.
And so my idea is, okay, if it's Carnival and then people are going to be busy doing what they're doing, let's be busy. We'll have a camp then.
Yeah.
If the guys want to go see what's going on in Carnival, no problem. We'll be at Atabola, you can go to Cuba, and you can go see. You'll see what's going on, but you have to be back in camp.
Exactly.
And if I'm going to be in camp, the players has to be in camp too. Mm-hmm. And look, it's not a punishment.
No.
It's we're young men becoming grown men in the real world. And when you in a real world, you have a real job. We have a job to do. And so if they're going to be committed to the task that we have to do, that's where we're going to be. Mm-hmm. We'll have our live-in camp that we stay in there and we train, and we can walk to the facility from the home of football in Balmain. Mm-hmm. It's right there at the Bowling Stadium. It's right there. We can train right there. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm not going to be the kind of coach that says, no, you can't go to Carnival. No, you can, but you're going to come back into camp.
Come back.
Because this is important for us. I don't think Canada will be involved in no Carnival. I don't think St. Vincent will be. Dominica won't be. So we need to be conscious of what we need to do. Like I said, I still want them to have a good time. I'm going to allow them to see it and do whatever, but when it comes to be prepared for what we have to be prepared for, that's the important thing. But that's the tournament. All the games, like I said, are going to be in the National Stadium. And we play St. Vincent, then we play Dominica, and then we play Canada. And my intention is to win all 3 games. And hopefully the players and coaches are on board with it.
I'm glad. I think you have it right. St. Vincent, Dominic, and then Canada because Canada probably would be the toughest.
Yes.
On paper. Doesn't mean it's going to be the toughest in the field, but on paper it's the toughest. And we play them last. If we take care of the first two, then we can really enjoy playing Canada.
Yeah, should be a fun game.
But what I'm surprised about is how quickly this is coming up.
Yeah.
You didn't get much time. You had, what, 3 months, 4 months?
Well, the issue was, and at first I was like, my gosh, not a lot of time. But they have their college football. I was going to TTF, the SSFL.
Yeah.
That was going on. So I couldn't get all the players because they were playing their games. And I'm like, you know what? I can't take them away from their schools.
Right.
I played at John D. with the national team. But the difference was when we were there and the national team said to come, we went.
Yes.
Now the coaches are saying, no, we have to win our league. This is important. Yeah. Okay, I'm at, I have to wait until they're done. And the good part about it is that 90% of these players had a level of coaching. And so when they come to me and I say something, they understand. And the good thing about John D is that we had players who were on the national team already. Right. So it was easy. But now, now I'm here and the players come in, I say something and they don't talk. And I'm like, yo, I'm talking to you, talk back.
Talk back, right.
And so now they're starting to understand me a little bit better. So it's been good. But the time was short, but I pushed them through as quickly as I could and they're starting to learn. So now it's time to keep going further.
You're learning them. You're right. They don't say nothing.
They don't talk
and they keep
much.
everything inside and says, if you're in a position and you think you can do better somewhere else, or the coach have you on the bench, go and ask him why.
Yeah.
And let him tell you why, what you have to do to get on the team.
Exactly.
So they don't understand that at all. But how you feel now, though, about the players you have, the quality of players, how you feel about the talent? Give me an idea of how you feel about it.
I feel really good because the level of the players that we have in the group, they're not the same, but they all have differences, and I love that. I know what symphonies are made of. It's not just made of saxophones, and it's not just made of drums. It's all different types. But they make beautiful music when they do it together. So all the kinds of players that we have, it's blending nicely. However, I'm very impressed with the speed of the team. Not just running. I'm talking about the speed of thought, the speed of everything that they do, and it always impresses me because I watch them in training and I think this is good, and then I watch them play against someone else. I'm like, my God, we're that much faster? Because you're seeing everybody at the same speed and you think this is good, but it's amazing when they play against other teams how fast they really are. And I'm not just talking about running. I'm talking about technically, and I'm talking about the speed of thought. So I'm impressed with that, and all I can do is ask for more. So that's what I'm doing.
Again, who's your help? You have
Sean Cooper's one of them.
Sean Cooper.
Marvin Gordon is another one, and then Gilbert Bartow, who is an absolute gentleman from the standpoint of a great student of the game, and he is I think he is not. A lot of people don't know how much he knows about the game, and I like going back and forth with these guys, talking the game with them, and making sure when I go over the sessions, I say, look, this is what I'm doing, and boom, everybody's right there. They fall right in, and it's been a labor of love, man. It's been good. It's been very good.
Good. So you here just for that U20 World Cup,
and then well, the other part is also been selected to be with the U23s. Okay. So we'll see when that starts. But right now, I'm sorry, I can't even.
You can't concentrate.
I can't go there yet. I have to. All my energies is right here.
Right. All right. So what else is in your plans other than you here and you want to be here and you want to stay here and you do anything?
Yeah, I would look. This is where I want to be. My wife and I are very, very happy with the fact that she lives in South Carolina now. We moved there for the reason that we're closer to Trinidad, and then eventually we want to live in the South because it's somewhere we like. But the thing about it is that in 2026, she said that's as long as she gave me. You don't get past 2026. You're stopping this coaching stuff up. I go, it's the World Cup. She goes, yeah, that's what you get. World Cup and that's it. So if I'm
you're doing well.
If I get to be a part of the whole process, you know, with Angus with the senior team, that would be wonderful. I do not want Angus's job.
Right.
I would be a very good assistant coach, and I know he has his own assistants, but right. I just want to be able to be the one that's bringing the players from 20s, 23s to them, and say let's go make a mark in Mexico, in Canada, and in the United States for the next World Cup, and I just want to make sure that Trinidad not only be on the map but stays on the map.
So you want to give back to this country,
yes,
that's given you so much,
yes,
and you wanted to give back, and I hope they understand that, and
yeah, I hope so too,
and give us the chance to make things happen.
Yeah,
yeah, because and you're right. I mean, you're at a good age group. And I think you're closer to 17, you're in the 20, and the 23 is right there. And then the big team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, let's go back a little bit to college, not college, MLS.
Okay.
And people talk about MLS. and Trinidadians know about the NASL, and they also know about Major Soccer League or Major League Soccer in the United States. So I want Trinidad to know that you did play in that league, the top U.S. league, and was a star in it as well. So they can always make sure that's on your resume.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I played in the APSL, which was a spin-off from the NASL.
Right.
And that was not all over the U.S. It was in certain parts. It was APSL, ASL, all different parts, but it was a part of the NASL. And when I started playing in the APSL, I played first in Maryland. Actually, I played in Orlando, then Maryland, and then from Maryland, I went to Colorado. And in Colorado, we had a mixture of players from all over the world on our team. And in 92 is when I first played with them. We won the league. In 93, we won it again. 94, we lost in the final.
Right.
95, I was traded to Seattle. And we won it in Seattle. And in 96, Major League Soccer came.
Right.
And when Major League Soccer came, because of them beating Trinidad, basically, in 89,
right,
they went to the World Cup in 90. And by going to the World Cup, they gave them the MLS.
Right.
And I was the 33rd player picked to play in the MLS.
Okay.
In Dallas, and so I played in Dallas, and in '97 I won my 6th trophy as a player. We won the MLS Cup, not the MLS Cup. We won the Open Cup, and so it was good for me. From 96 I played until 2001, and in 2001 I said, okay, that's enough of this. I'm going to go into coaching now, and in 2001, I became a coach in Dallas for 5 more years.
Okay. Let's take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, and I wanted to get into, tell me, since you've been here, how you feel and about our football.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you can probably educate us a little bit more on some of the things. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
Hi, I am Nigel. Quote Me Today is your daily motivational segment to start your day right. Join me Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. right here on NCBN. Remember, wake up with a smile. Today is your day.
Extreme. That's why when we testing, we just spend God when we jamming, we just jam down when we drinking, man is strong rum, a pop a bottle.
Change Talk TV to the song, boy, better stay calm, be cool.
Trinbago Heritage, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on NCBN TT Television Network.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. We have more than a treat for you anyway, a lot more to talk about. Brian, so tell me how, since you've been here, how much you know about what's happening in football, and I want to know how you feel about it, and see if I can try to help you understand what football is in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, the one thing I've done is since I've been in the U.S., I've been watching the teams. Mm-hmm. The teams being the first team. Haven't seen much of the youth teams play. Mm-hmm. Actually, I did see some of the youth teams play because the U.S., there was a goalkeeper for the U17s that I was coaching in Colorado when they played against Trinidad. Mm-hmm. And now this guy's been pushed up to the first team with the Colorado Rapids. Good young player, good goalkeeper. But the thing about it, like I said, I've been watching, and I've been watching the success that Angus have been having with the first team. And I know that when he had the big loss against the U.S. into Miami when they at that stadium, I was watching all the games. And I was thinking to myself, I'm hoping that he has the backends that he needs. And there was a big controversy that happened, and I'm like, the media. They could be good, they could be evil, but at the same time, we have to deal with them, and we have to be, I would think, honest, without a doubt. And so when I came to Trinidad, I was feeling out to find out, the best place to go is a barbershop.
Right.
I was in a barbershop, and they were talking to me about the Trinidad, and I didn't let them know who I was. And I said, yeah, I just came back from the U.S. I used to play football there. Now I'm back in Trinidad, and I'll be working soon with one of the teams.
Right.
And they started talking about, yeah, we'll never be successful. Yeah, this is never going to happen. And I said, what years were you guys born? And none of them were born the time that I was. Right. I said, I knew of a time when we were very successful. As a matter of fact, I knew a time when the U.S., Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala did not want to play against Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
So you might have your beliefs, but I have mine. Because I can tell you when they didn't want to play against us. As a matter of fact, people would tell me that they were scared to play against Trinidad and Tobago. So if that has changed, then maybe we need to go back and remind people what we are.
Right.
And so it was good to hear people tell me about the negative things. And my question was simple. Do you drive a car? They said, yes. Okay, good. If there's a wreck in front of you, would you stop driving your car? What do you mean? I'll just drive around. I said, well, if there was something that was bad that happened in football, let's just drive around it and see if you can go forward again. I said, I'll tell you what I would like to do if I become a part of the whole organization and everything that's happening. I want to go back into the same communities that I grew up in and invite people to come watch us. Why? Because I'm going to try and play a brand of football that is like what I used to see. And I'm going to believe in it, and I'm going to make sure every player that plays for me believes in it, otherwise he's not going to play.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, I still believe that we can do what we did before. And we not only did it, but we went to a World Cup. And I would tell them, you know, the fact that how small we are.
Right.
And we made it to the World Cup. It wasn't a fluke. We did it, and we could do it again. And so it was funny because I would get all kinds of people and 90% of them were negative. And I would say to them the same thing. I'm like, I understand why you feel that way, but what have you done to help us to go forward? And nobody would have any answers about helping, but they would have every reason to criticize. And I go, look, I understand why you criticize, but how about trying to help the guys? How about trying to help the coach? And I said, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here, I can criticize, that's easy to do, anybody can criticize, but I'm here to help. And I'm not just here to help the coach, but I'm here to help football in general. And the good thing about it is my wife supports what I'm doing, because it would be really difficult if my wife said, no, why are you doing that? No, she understands that. She says, I'm going to support your passion. And it's more than a passion now. This is what I want to do. And I know why I want to do it. And it's not for me. I've won trophies, I've won medals, all that, but that didn't satisfy me. What's going to satisfy me is to say, hey, I helped our national team to get here. And so while I'm learning and understanding how people respond to football, and I get it, people have bad experiences, but I know there's some good experiences out there. So
I think the bar is lower.
Yeah.
And they're reaching for a lower bar, because back when, all the time, there was one team coming out of the CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Now there is 3 teams coming out, 3.5.
Yep.
And this World Cup is really 6.
It's 6.
Because
it's 6.
Canada, Mexico, and the US
already.
is in.
They're gone already.
And we know we have 3 spots to play for. So did we bring the bar down too low for them to reach for? I don't know. But one thing I know is we used to play very fast when teams used to play tap.
Yeah.
Brazil, Mexico, bap, bap. And now the world is playing fast football. So now, so we need to, if we were continue playing fast football, we'd be in. But now the world has caught up with our style, and we just have to push it harder.
I really, I love Brazil. I love the way they used to play. I say used to.
Right.
And the one thing I do realize is that they have been caught up by the rest of the countries of the world.
Right.
And now they're trying to go back to what they used to be.
Right.
Because Brazil was play what comes to you.
Yeah.
There's no way Pelé worked on the moves that he did and then did it in a game. It's whatever came to him. I watched Ronaldinho in his prime, the same thing.
Yeah.
The real Ronaldo, the same thing. These guys just did whatever came to their minds.
Yeah.
And Trinidad, we have our own way.
Right.
We like the mama guy people.
Right.
Why can't we play like that?
Yeah.
Make them think one thing, we're doing something else. Because that's what's naturally in us. So what I'm asking my players to do is, hey, be you. Nobody can be a better version of you. You are who you are. Now you get the opportunity to play on this team, and when you get the ball, go be yourself, because I can't help you to be anybody else. But do it within the framework of what we're trying to do. And I really and truly think that I've been to some games, and I listen to what the crowds cheer about, and I'm going, my God, they don't have a Leroy Span. They can see somebody dribble somebody. They don't have a guy who can Selwyn Morin or Ken Morin. They don't have these players who did these special things that they can say, boy, I'm going to see this. I'm going to go see Reno. I'm going to see Wilfred Crave. I'm going to see. And so I used to go, and I would go to these games knowing what I was going to go watch.
Right.
And now we just scream when somebody runs after a ball. I'm like, we just scream when somebody does a hard tackle. We only scream when there's a goal.
Yeah.
There's so much more. And now I'm hoping that we can bring that back, that part of the game back, because I remember as a young man how much fun I had just to go sit there, and I would sit with my friends and go, that's so-and-so, that's this one, that's that one. And I knew all the players, not because I knew them because, they came by my house and everything, but because I wanted to be as good. And I really and truly think that we need to get back to that. We need to get back to it.
I'm glad you're coached like that, because like I see on the show all the time, I'm not a big fan of coaching because they don't give them freedom to express themselves. Pass. And nobody comes to watch pass.
Yeah,
everybody wants to.
It's okay to pass.
See,
it's okay.
If you have opportunity to do things, do things.
Yes.
And when you can't, you get the ball going and within the frame.
I have. There was a couple of players, but there was one player before the game. I pulled him aside before we played Jamaica, and I said, "Listen, when you get the ball and you're in the attacking third, and you have an opportunity to go forward, go."
Right.
So during the game, he got a ball. There was 3 guys in front of him, and there was somebody making a run. And he had the ball at his feet, and he passed, and we lost it. And I called him, and I go, "Hey, young man." He goes, "What?" I go, "You are the number 1 option. You have the ball. You make the decision."
Yeah.
Now, if you decide to pass it, and I told you, when you have an opportunity to go, and you don't do it, we have a problem.
Right.
I'm giving you the freedom to be creative. That's who you are. And I think when a player hears that, it encourages him to be himself.
Right.
And when it's okay, if there's somebody wide open, he should, go ahead. But if you're the option and you didn't take it and we lose it, I'm coming to you, because I told you, you have the opportunity to go ahead and be creative. So, and I like to play for coaches. I don't play anymore. I like to play for coaches who let me be myself out there within the context of the game. But if I got the ball and he tells me, go by the guy, I'm going by him, now I'm going to have to look for somebody. But I think it's something that Trinidadian players should do. It's that, look, we have skillful players, let them use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them use it.
So, and we gifted
in
our abilities, and we gifted pace.
Physically, we got
pace. We like that. We live in warm weather. We like to run.
Yep.
And we're quick. So let's use that.
Yeah.
And so I think we in a little, a slope going up, and I think we will get there, but it will take a little bit of doing, and that's what people like yourself are here for.
I'm hoping so. Hoping so.
So just keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And keep pushing and trying to get us to the next level, because that's what we need right now.
Yeah, I think we have the young men who can do it, and as a staff and as coaches who are looking for the best in the players, I think we give them the opportunity and just make sure we support them.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing I see all the time is the coaches screaming from the sideline and dictating what they, and you can make, I think it should just be instructions.
Yeah.
And again, that's why maybe I'm not in coaching. Because I sit back, I coached Civic Center before, and when they were before they came to Pro League and So, but I figure you sit back, you watch, you make your strategic moves, and then you do it when the time is ready, but not on the field, in front of the crowd, and all that kind of stuff.
Steve, I honestly 100% became a coach because of my kids. 2 kids.
Right.
I was walking up the steps to their room, and I heard them playing in their room, and they were playing so nicely. Nobody fighting with each other. And as a dad, I was all excited. I was proud. I'm like, this is so good. So I burst open the door, and I go, aha, I caught you guys. And they go, what? I go, caught you being good. See you later. And I walk back down the stairs.
Yeah.
And while I was down the stairs, I hear my daughter say, and I cried when she did it. She said to my son, Jonas, her name's Jordan, she said, Jonah, let's make sure when Daddy comes back up the stairs, he catches us being good. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And I walked up the stairs and I could hear them giggling now because they planned it out.
Right.
And I opened the door and I go, aha, I caught you guys. Both of them said it. You caught us being good. I said, that's right, let's go get ice cream. And it's my philosophy when I coach now.
Right.
I want to catch my players doing good.
Good stuff. Right.
And I want to scream out loud to them, well done.
Yes.
Because I know that is going to cause him to want to repeat it. But if I'm screaming at him, what are you doing? He doesn't want to hear me. And my voice becomes no voice anymore, it becomes noise.
Noise.
And what do you do with noise? You shut it out. And so with me as a coach, that's where I come from now, because I know how much I played for coaches that screamed at me, and I would in my mind go, I can't wait to lose this game so you lose your job.
Yeah, yeah.
But the ones that I know that believed in me, and they would say something to me, I would listen to them, and I would say, you know what? I don't want to lose this game because I let that coach down, because he believed in me. And so as a coach now, that's what that's a mentality I take on now. I'm going to make sure that when I say something to a kid, he goes like this and he pays attention because he knows what I'm saying to him is something that's going to help him and help the team. Not me, help him.
I always say to them, when I turned pro, it was so different because when you're playing well, you get encouragement. Yeah, good ball, Steve. Good. And when you're not playing well, it's really silence because they know you better. They try to encourage you, but here, if you're not playing well, you know you're not playing well because they're yelling how bad you're playing, how much shit you're playing.
Yeah.
And then when you do something good, you get good ball.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
So it was a total difference. So some adjustments you had to make.
Yeah.
And I think we need to kind of do that for our kids now. All right, we have couple of minutes to go. Parting words. Anything you want to speak out that I didn't get? Using?
2 things.
2 things.
My mom turns 91 this year.
Oh, wow, good. Where is she now?
My mom is in Trinidad.
Okay, good. I'll go.
So that was such an easy decision to come to Trinidad.
Yeah.
My mom was in the twilight of her years.
Okay.
She remembers some things and she remembers a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The greatest thing that happened to me when I got home, I went to see her and I was sitting on the couch next to her and I'm touching her and I'm talking to her. And my brother Russell, who brought me here today, was saying to her, you know, that's your son there on TV. She's like, what? She goes, your son is on TV, look. And she turns, sitting right next to me, looks at the TV and says, oh, that's my second to last son.
She knows.
And she saw me and recognized me, and I'm sitting right next to her, and I go, Mom, that's me. She goes, yeah, I know, you're my second to last son. Right. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because, you know, she doesn't remember everything, but she remembered that.
Okay.
And that's the one thing that I have to say because coming to Trinidad made it very easy because I wanted to be where my mom was.
Right.
And I didn't have the opportunity all my life. I saw her back and forth, but this is the time I wanted to be here for that. And then 2, my brothers and sisters, they all worked hard to be the kind of people that they are. Right. And when I do what I do, I don't do it for me. I do it for my family. Right. I do it for my wife and for my kids. But most importantly, in the end, it's for my country. Right. You know, and I want to make sure that Trinidadians understand when you talk down about a player, or you talk down about a coach, or you talk down about a football in Trinidad, it's your own country you're talking about.
Right.
And we are too small to be divided.
Good.
You know, so we should we make sure we have the same things in mind, so that when we go there, we lift our teams up. And I think it's going to be important that we do the job for them, and in the end, we get the support back from them.
Okay, Brian, I want to thank you so much for being here.
No problem, man.
It's so good to see you again.
Hey, glad to see you as well.
I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank
you're
you.
going to see a lot more about me. I would support your team as much as I can.
That is awesome, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, thank you for tuning in every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, NCBN TT. NCBN TT, thanks for the opportunity. We have a Facebook page, you can check us out, and we have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com, where you can drop us a line. This show has ended. Go in peace. I'm Steve David. Good night.